I've been working with sequencers ever since I got my first Serge modular music system back in 1979 with the TKB, which we'll look at in a moment. I think all sequencers were patterned on the early 1970s Buchla 246, which had 4 rows of control voltages, 16 steps, and actually 2 pulses out for each step. And those pulses were switchable, as you can see by the switches at the bottom. I did get a Korg SQ10, which had 3 rows of control voltages, 12 steps per row, and individual pulses out. Then the Steiner Synthesystem, which is 3 rows of 8 stages of CV and individual pulses out. You can see the thing that I'm liking is pulses out. And then I now have a zero control, which has 8 steps and 2 rows of CV, 1 row of timing, and 8 individual pulses out. And now we're going to look at what I know the best, which is this Serge TKB. Came out in the late 70s. It's 4 rows of 16 steps each, control voltages, and individual pulses out. And what I'd like to look at today, which is a patch I was working on the last couple of days, it's a simple patch. Again, I didn't take a lot of time dialing it in as far as pitches and things. What I'm hoping your takeaway will be is the strategy. And simply put, the strategy is you can not only sequence control voltages, but you can sequence pulse events. In other words, each of those pulses could be triggering its own envelope generator or wave multiplier. There's all sorts of possibilities here. I'm just going to show you a few that I came up with the other day, and hope you enjoy it. Thanks for listening. Okay, here are the main players, and I'll see if I can talk you through this. Clearly, there are a lot of variable Q VCFs. I love them and happen to have a lot of them in my various Serge systems. Some oscillators and a noise source. But there's also envelope generators that I'm not showing, but I'll talk you through it. So the first pulse I use is pulse 2, and it goes to ping the first variable Q filter. And then I use row B to send CV to the frequency and dial in the frequency knob. What I found is the Q knob, the more I turn it to the right, sort of the longer the decay of the Q. So it would pick up the first 5 notes of the CV in that row to adjust the frequency of the filter. So that's why it's just this little 5-note phrase that keeps coming back every time we hit pulse 2. Pulse 4 goes to its own envelope generator, which is then opening the wave mult top section, which acts like a VCA, and I'm just sending a triangle wave, but it comes out being sort of clicky because of the envelope. So that's happening there. And I have delay and reverb. I have a Strymon Big Sky for reverb, and I have a Boss stereo delay pedal. And so everything you're hearing is going through both of those, but of course at different attenuations. Some have hardly any on them, some have a lot on them. This particular channel has a lot of feedback delay. Then that was pulse 4. Next is pulse 6, which is going to the second variable slope filter, and it's just going to trigger in, and it's pinging it. And then I've dialed in, of course, the resonance, and it's sort of that low pitch shifted gong that goes on. 8 is going to an oscillator, and so when it hits the oscillator, it makes it jump an octave. But I'm sending also the pulse to activate another envelope generator so that this can sort of fade in and fade out, and also it's going to the second section of the wave multiplier. So every time around, it's catching a different folded wave there. Pulse number 10 goes to its own VCFQ. It's pinging it, but this is getting its sequence from row A, and it has a shorter decay, so it's only picking up a couple notes from the row A. Pulse number 12 goes to a 1973-75 Serge filter, and the Q's up a bit, and it sort of provides that little kick drum that comes in every now and then. And finally, stage 14, or pulse 14, I should say, it goes to its own universal slope generator and VCA combo, and opens and closes this sort of breathing white noise. So that's the basics. And what I love about it is these all can sort of happen differently. For instance, the white noise, the decay on the DUSG envelope is so long that it only happens every other pass through those 16 pulses. And oh yeah, right. Then today I actually added yet another oscillator and put it through its own wave mult and used row C. And so with the wave mult all the way down, you can barely hear it because it's a sine wave, and then as the wave folding comes in, it comes into the foreground, it goes out again, and it's that opening and closing is a free running dual universal slope generator envelope that's pretty long. So those are all the elements. Let's take a listen to them all again. Thanks for watching. Hope this was of use. Of course, you could make these go faster, or what I'm probably going to do is what happens if we slow this way down and have really interesting, long, various sculpted envelopes doing things. Okay, take a listen as we exit the tutorial. Thanks. Bye.